Yes.
Well, thank you all so much for helping with my project. I was wondering if you could start off by introducing yourself and talking a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So let me start and then she'll go next. Yeah. My name is Sudarshan Kannan and I'm based in Houston, Cypress, Texas. I work for HP as a transmission leader and been living in US for the past 7 years. I came from the southern part of India originally, where I grew up in a countryside pretty much all my life before I moved to Bangalore for work, ultimately, actually, before coming over to US. And now I'm going to let her talk about herself. Can you introduce yourself?
I'm Ayati Sudarshan.
And 6 years old?
6 years old, born in Texas.
And what do you like?
And I like, my favorite color is red.
Uh-huh.
And
what do you like to learn about?
I like to learn about space.
Yes.
Which is mostly my favorite thing.
Yes.
Are you watching the launch today of the 4 astronauts to the International Space Station?
Yes, in the evening they're going to go at 7:27, I think, actually.
Yes, Eastern time, which is 6:27 our
6:27.
time.
Yes, from Florida, Kennedy Space Center, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
And I think the programming starts for that around 3 p.m. Eastern, which is 2 p.m. You know, the interviews and press
Yes.
conferences and all that good stuff.
It's kind of so they're going to send 4 astronauts, Ayati, to space station, and all of them are going to go for the first time from US without any assistance from Russian satellites or Russian rockets or whatever. Actually, they're going to go on a private commercial vehicle to the International Space Station.
Okay.
Yes.
So Ayati, can you tell me about some of your favorite things about space? What interests you?
Like, basically what interests me is by the sun holding all of the planets by its heat. That's what interests me.
And do you look at the stars at night?
Not really. But one time we went on a vacation to San Antonio, then we went to a cabin, and it was, then I had went to sleep one night, but then the next day I had saw the stars. It was more stars.
Yeah, because we went to Frio River near Gardner State Park, and it's kind of fabulous where you can see the Texas sky there, much better than here. So if you just look up there on the sky, you can see the whole sky almost like lit up with the stars and everything. It's almost like you see lights over there in the sky.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, even in the daytime, there's as many stars in the sky as there are at nighttime, but because of the sun, we can't see them.
Yes. And so she likes to read about planets, and one of her kind of, I don't know if I still have the drawing, I kind of probably don't. One of the things which her sister, she has an elder sister who's 13, who told her, oh, there may be another big planet out there, right?
Yeah.
Which one is that? Do you know? Something bigger than Jupiter, right? Yes.
It's way more bigger than Jupiter.
Yes.
It's like a really big thing.
Yes. And so she really likes to study more about space as she kind of as much as she can understand.
Did y'all know that we're planning to send people to walk on the moon again in 2024?
Yes.
How did y'all find out about it?
Because I think they kind of laid it out as a mission, next mission for moon or something like that. They want to put people back in the moon. That's kind of how we found out. And again, one of the fascinating things about the space is that so much is unknown. So there is so much to know there, more than what you know.
So what do you hope they find out? Like, what do you think they'll discover?
They'll find in the moon.
I think they'll find, some life on the moon.
You think so?
Yeah.
Are you sure they can find life on the moon? They
Probably.
Probably, yes.
It is kind of interesting. We found life like on these vents that are very hot in the bottom of the ocean where we didn't expect to find them. And it's amazing. Apparently, microbes can actually survive
That,
going in meteors that land on the Earth, and
yes.
it's really
So,
difficult to say where life could be and where it couldn't be.
yes. And how many moons does Earth have?
One.
One. Okay. And is that the moon they're gonna go to? I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Are
the
there
moon.
other moons in the world? Are there other moons out there?
Yes.
Many of them.
Yeah.
And how many moons does Jupiter have?
Well, I have two Facebooks. One said about
63 or something.
63,
Another one
and
said-
then the other one said 79.
Yes.
Wow. Now, if you could go to the moon, would you?
Probably yes.
What do you think it would be like?
It would be like a bit rocky, cold.
Uh-huh.
And do you have any other friends that are interested in space?
Well, not really.
Not really.
No.
She does. And again, it's kind of interesting right now with the school year being online. Clearly, there is so much lesser interaction of how much these kids can really interact. Right. And by the time she got interested in space, it was probably during the break. Essentially, that's when she got fascinated about space and started reading as much as possible on space, right? And she would go do quizzes on some of these websites, National Geographic websites, which are there for kids in terms of helping herself understand space better, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did y'all get to see the comet that was visible during the summer? Comet Neowise?
No, I think we missed it.
Yeah, there was a couple of weeks, I believe it was July or August.
Uh-huh.
Actually, maybe it was in June, where you could actually see the comet right after sunset. Because comets are like these out beyond the orbit of Pluto. There's a whole bunch of ice particles and big blocks of ice and big rocks and everything orbiting the solar system, and occasionally something will perturb them and cause one of them to get into this big elliptical path around the sun. And as it's getting closer to the sun is causing the ice to bubble off, and it makes a tail. And sometimes it's bright enough and close enough that we can actually see it. Sometimes even in the daytime, if it's bright enough.
Wow.
The most famous one is Halley's Comet. Have you heard of Halley's Comet?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it comes through like every 79 years or something like that. So I missed the last time, so I'm not so sure I'll get a chance to see it, but you will.
Because you're young, so hopefully you will see it.
Okay.
Yes.
So did you have any questions about space?
Do you have questions for Nathan?
Nope.
No? And what would you like to do when you grow bigger?
When I grow bigger?
Yes.
Well, I would rather check about the sun and moon.
Okay. And which one fascinates you more?
The sun.
Why?
Because of all the helium and heat, all it has in it, and how it can control like a lot of things in space.
Oh, very nice. And so in terms of your kind of how do I say, journey of learning more about people, this is so over the next 4 years you're going to do this, Nathan, right?
Exactly.
Until 2024.
Until the end of 2024, yeah. So I'm almost completed my first year, and I have 4 more to go.
You have 4 more to go. Wow. And in terms of 24, do they have a defined date on when they're going to go?
No, and there's a lot of doubts that they'll keep the same date with the change of the administration and everything. And So it it may not happen in 2024, but hopefully by then we would have had astronauts go around the moon at
Yeah.
least. So
And in terms of the motivation to go back there, is that more symbolic, or do they hope to learn more this time in moon than what they did last time?
yeah, since the last time we went to the moon, we discovered that there's actually a water ice on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
The moon doesn't have an atmosphere, and
Yeah.
so things that are in shadows are extremely cold, like minus like 200 degrees Celsius type of cold, like really really cold. And um, there are these craters near the poles that have permanent shadows in them, and so they're always cold. And over billions of years, comets have hit the moon, and
Uh-huh.
some water particles have made it into these cold areas, and they've accumulated. And so we think there's these the that we have the water ice as a resource.
Uh-huh.
Also, potentially, um, it could be preserving. Uh, Artifacts or life
Mm-hmm.
from previous periods in the the life of the solar system. That would be kind of interesting to study. But also in addition to that, meteors are constantly hitting the earth, and they come in all sizes. Some are small, some are big, some are made out of ice, some are made out of like things that melt easily, some are made out of metal. And most of the meteors that hit the earth actually burn up in the atmosphere or fall into the ocean. And the
Mm-hmm.
few meteors that hit the land, they get weathered away, grown over, and what have you. So we don't have a good record of these meteor impacts on the
Mm-hmm.
earth. But
Mm-hmm.
the moon has been traveling through the same volume of space as
Mm-hmm.
earth, and has like a, an a fairly complete record of kind of the nature of the impacts. So there could be, just like those comets that come like every 70 years, there's
Mm-hmm.
comets that come every hundreds of years and every thousands of years. There could be a whole chunk of flying material that's on like 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 year orbit
Mm-hmm.
that we can't detect right now, but there might be evidence of it on the moon. So we could research that and you know find out if such a thing is there. But um, eventually, think about this. We need more electricity uh, in civilization, right? I mean, we need
Mm-hmm.
it to run our computers, we need it to run our cars, we need it to
Mm-hmm.
manufacture stuff, we need it to, clean our clothes and grow food and all this. Now, only 1/700th billionth of the sun's energy falls on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, the sun is radiating energy in all directions, pretty much
Yeah.
uniformly. The Earth is just a little bitty a sphere, and it's
Mm-hmm.
only in one place in time. And so you have all of this energy that's just being released into space. What if you could create solar panels and put them
Mm-hmm.
on satellites and beam that energy down to Earth or use it in space? And then what if you could actually build those solar panels using the materials from the moon? And launching them from the moon would be a lot easier because it's only 1/7th gravity
Mm-hmm.
as much as Earth, and there's no atmosphere too. So you have a lot of potential. So
And is that the reason why they are looking moon more specifically than other planets?
well, the moon is close. It's always 3 days away.
Yes.
So if you send and it's always within a second or two in terms of radio communication. Whereas like Mars,
Yes.
if you send people to Mars, you have to wait until the planets get aligned just right, and then it
Yes.
takes you 6 months to get them
Correct.
there. Then
Yes.
they're stuck there until the planets get aligned just right again,
Yes.
and then it takes
Yes.
6 months to get them back. Whereas, so many things could go wrong. They might
Mm-hmm.
get a toothache. They might, um, you know, uh, want to come home early. All
Yeah.
these things could happen. So
Yeah.
better
No, that's
to practice with the moon.
the moon. Okay, got it. Okay, wonderful. And then, is that a U.S. led effort, or is that more other countries are also doing participating or expected to participate with U.S.?
Yeah, so we're actually international set of partners are participating. The European Space Agency is building some of the modules for the orbiting space station around the moon. Japan is going to be building like a moon rover that the astronauts can go and drive around on the moon.
Wow.
Canada is building like a robotics arm that'll be on that space station to help to birth things that come to the they're calling it the lunar gateway, and then also it would be used for the assembly and for various other things. And then there's a number of other space agencies that are involved as well.
Okay.
And we may be sending some astronauts from those space agencies as well as and you know because of their contribution. So.
And do you see a time where people can live in the moon?
Yeah, I think so. You know, our environment here on Earth is largely artificial. Imagine how life would be without our houses and without AC and without running water and all these things. And you have people living in extreme places like in Antarctica and Alaska and what have you. You also have people living in submarines underneath the ocean. So there's no reason why people couldn't live
You know,
in artificial environments on the moon as well.
do you think people are going to live in the moon?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yep.
Would you be like one of them, who like to live in the moon?
Sure.
Sure.
I would take the option.
You would take the option. That's nice.
I keep telling my nephew I'm going to retire on the moon. So
He's going to retire on the moon.
then it'd be easier. Well, I don't know if it'd be easier to walk around. I definitely would be lighter, right? 200-pound person only weighs like 20 pounds on the moon.
Yes. Yes.
So.
That is true.
But they still have 200 pounds of inertia. So that's a problem.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I really appreciate y'all's time. It was so good to get y'all's perspective on this.
This was a great opportunity. And so you continue every day, is it?
Every day, yeah. I sometimes my original plan was to talk to people at the coffee shop and at the stores and
Now
on the
it's
streets.
Yes.
Now it's all virtual. Yeah, going up to random people at coffee shops is not a good idea these days.
Not now. Maybe next year. Next year, probably we get back to normal.
I had to go to Europe for a business trip in February, so I got to interview people in London and in York and at the airport, and that was kind of neat. And Edinburgh, I went to Edinburgh too, so Scotland.
Yes, that's nice. Very nice. Excellent. Thank you, Nathan, for the opportunity. We truly appreciate giving us the opportunity to learn more. And again, hopefully one day people do live in the moon, and then hopefully you get to also live in the moon.
Okay.
There is one other thing. So I'm taking this video, I'm putting on a micro SD card, and I'm sending it to Astrobotic, which is a company based in Pittsburgh that will be landing a probe on the moon next summer. So your video is going to be on the moon next summer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your video is going to be on the moon. Maybe you can go search for it when you go there.
Okay. Maybe.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nathan.
Okay. Y'all have a good day.
You have a very good day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have
Bye-bye.
a good one. Bye. Yes.